I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't want to do that because that'll tarnish his legacy as well as my leg.
Let's see at 46 how hard Manny works, and if he still got it. I wouldn't completely count him out. That's all I'm gonna say.
Manny Pacquiao is making a return to professional boxing, and this time it's the real deal. This isn't just another exhibition match against a YouTube personality or a low-stakes event. Pacquiao is diving headfirst into serious competition, facing off against the current WBC welterweight champion, Mario Barrios. The bout is reportedly scheduled for July 19th in Las Vegas, and Pacquiao has already kicked off training camp. From the early looks of it, he appears sharp, quick, and surprisingly rejuvenated. His return has caught the boxing world off guard. Even Floyd Mayweather took notice after some training footage leaked online. What's really happening here? Let's unpack it. Some athletes seem built to challenge expectations, and Manny Pacquiao is a prime example. Now 46, the iconic Filipino fighter is preparing to lace up the gloves once again, ready to take on not just the passage of time, but a fierce and much younger opponent. His challenger? Mario Barrios, a 29-year-old up-and-comer known for his speed, drive, and youthful energy. This showdown is shaping up to be one of the most talked-about comebacks the sport has seen in years.
46-year-old Manny Pacquiao coming out of retirement to face 29-year-old Mario Barrios for the WBC Welterweight Championship on July 19th in Las Vegas. That's according to an ESPN.
Pacquiao officially stepped away from boxing on September 29th, 2021, closing the curtain on a legendary career that stretched across more than 20 years, 8 weight classes, and a legacy full of iconic moments. At the time, it seemed like the final chapter had been written. But now, nearly 4 years later, he's making an unexpected return. And this time, there's a championship title at stake.
This is wild news. Look, in the boxing underground rumor mill, this had been floating around for a couple months. We just didn't know if it was going to be for real. Was Manny really going to commit to not just coming back after 4 years away, after just one fight in the last 6 years at age 46, but to come back directly into a title fight against a young, in his prime, active champion, Mario Barrios? It's interesting theater, to say the least. It's a pay-per-view main event, reportedly for July.
Scheduled for July 2025. The Pacquiao versus Barrios showdown will be for the WBC Welterweight Championship, a title Pacquiao proudly wore during his prime. This isn't just an exhibition. The fight is officially sanctioned under a special WBC rule that permits iconic former champions to request a title shot when coming out of retirement, a privilege reserved for fighters with careers as decorated and influential as Pacquiao's.
In report, Pacquiao last fought in 2021 when he lost to Yordenis Ugas. Barrios won the WBC welterweight title from Ugas in 2023. His last fight was a split decision against Abel Ramos on the Jake Paul-Mike Tyson undercard in November. Pacquiao career record 62-8-2 with 39 knockouts. Barrios 29-2-1.
To truly grasp the generational gap in this matchup, consider this. When Pacquiao made his pro debut at just 16 years old, Mario Barrios hadn't even been born yet. Nearly 30 years later, these two fighters from completely different eras are set to meet in the ring in what many are calling a modern-day clash of titans. It's the seasoned warrior, wise, experienced, and still burning with passion, versus a young contender driven by ambition and raw talent. Since the fight was announced, Pacquiao has hit the ground running. His training camp is in full gear, and early leaked footage from the gym sent shockwaves through the boxing community. Many expected to see a veteran slowing down, maybe chasing one last moment in the spotlight. Instead, what fans witnessed was a throwback to the Pacquiao of old. Lightning quick, razor sharp, and explosively precise. He looked more like a fighter in his prime than someone nearing 50. The video ignited a wave of discussion online. Is Pacquiao genuinely making a return, Or is this his last hurrah before stepping away for good? One thing's clear. Whether you're rooting for the veteran icon or placing your hopes on the next generation, this bout is becoming more than a simple return. It's a showdown between two boxing eras.
I'm not saying the odds will be high that he's going to come back and pull this upset or even be ultra competitive. But again, it's sort of like Manny's already superhuman. Turning pro at like age 15 or 16 at 106 pounds and winning titles in 8 divisions. And oh, by the way, 2 fights ago for Manny in 2019, he came out of retirement and beat an unbeaten Keith Thurman for the welterweight title at the age of 40. There's very few greats that you can call all-time greats, and I think sometimes even above that category, there's that upper room. Is Manny Pacquiao one of those in boxing history? Sure.
Another clip featuring Manny Pacquiao recently caught fire online. And no, it's not from the gym or a sparring match. It's just him moving casually around a room. What's wild, though, is that even in this low-key moment, his speed is unreal. He's still lightning fast, like he's stuck in his prime, with his hands moving and fast forward while everything else seems to run in normal speed.
You become a habit. When you start boxing, like, woo, woo. Like that.
The speed is still there. Woo!
What this shows is something fans have quietly believed for a while now. Pacquiao never truly walked away for training. Even during his so-called retirement, the passion clearly never faded. He's a fighter at heart, no matter the stage of his career. And that speed? It's supposed to be the first thing to decline with age. Everyone in boxing knows the saying, speed goes first, power stays last. But it looks like Manny missed that memo because his quickness is still there, and it's downright alarming.
Couple things. The last thing to go is power, yes. Manny was also absurdly fast in his prime. So like a Roy Jones Jr. who hung on far too long, but was still fighting professionally at the age of 50, he still got speed that kind of compares to the average or above average speed that's out there today.
It's almost hard to believe. Pacquiao is one of those rare individuals who seems to excel at whatever he sets his mind to. Outside the ring, he wasn't just taking it easy or doing the usual press rounds. He was actively involved in politics, even running for the Senate in the Philippines. Balancing public service and a boxing career? That's no small feat. It really makes you stop and ask, how does someone manage all of that and still move like an elite level athlete?
That's how aside from boxing, I entered to politics because I want to serve honestly, to help the people. And I want to be an example, to be a good example to the politician here in the Philippines.
The real answer? It's all in the mindset. Manny isn't just out here for a payday. He's chasing legacy. You can sense it. The energy is reminiscent of George Foreman's iconic comeback in the 90s, when he stunned the world by reclaiming the heavyweight title at 45. Now, Pacquiao is aiming for a similar feat, but in a weight class where speed, reflexes, and stamina matter even more.
We know Manny Pacquiao has always brought big business, but now he's going to bring it in more of the late career George Foreman type of way to etch himself into that record book even further. Can Manny do it? I mean, look, the odds are certainly against him, but there's one thing about certain legends in this game. Think Bernard Hopkins, who fought into a very late age. Some of them, as long as they can physically get themselves into that ring, sometimes they can reproduce magic for one night. So it's a romantic situation. I got cats walking around.
Yep.
People are excited to see the Pac-Man back. You just got to kind of figure out, is this for real? Is he going to be for real? Or are we going to send him into a physical, violent retirement?
And it's not going unnoticed. People are seriously starting to pay attention. One of the most high-profile reactions came from none other than Joe Rogan. On his podcast, Rogan watched footage of Pacquiao's comeback and was clearly stunned. You could hear the disbelief in his voice as he reacted to what he was seeing.
And still can crack, and still as fast as lightning.
Yeah.
Levitt. Rogan remarked how it almost defies logic for someone to fight with that kind of speed and sharpness at 46. He even gave props to Pacquiao's genetics, pointing out, with some awe, those famously powerful calves that have become part of his legend.
And he's such an unusual guy. You know what's crazy about him is his calves.
Yeah.
When you look
Massive.
at that, they're giant. They're like a thigh.
That's when his guest, pro boxer George Kambosos Jr., chimed in with some insight. According to Cambosos, Pacquiao's calves aren't just a visual trademark. They're the result of years of relentless training. Think hill sprints, long-distance runs, and brutal lower body workouts. That explosive movement, that spring in his step, it's not some mystery. It's the outcome of pure discipline and next-level dedication.
No, the reason why, because in General Santos, the mountains that he runs and that steep hill, that's why they're so big, because he's always constantly running the mountains. And I was doing the mountain runs with him.
Yeah.
My calves started getting bigger and bigger. But I understand, why his calves are huge. But he's always bouncing. He's always moving around.
Yes.
He'll bounce for like 20-something rounds. He'll do his pads and he's jumping up and down. And he really is an unbelievable person, unbelievable athlete, and a legend of the sport. I think as time progresses, people are really going to appreciate his great.
Fighter comes out of retirement, it's easy to dismiss them. People assume they're past their prime, slower, out of rhythm, maybe chasing one last payday. But with Manny Pacquiao, that narrative doesn't really fit. Every new clip that pops up shows a fighter who looks sharper than many active contenders, even those ranked in the top 10. And that's what makes this return so compelling. This isn't a farewell tour. He's not just stepping back in for nostalgia's sake. He's taking on Mario Barrios for the WBC welterweight title. That's no warm-up fight. That's a legit opponent, and the fact that the WBC signed off on it says a lot. They know Pacquiao isn't just a sentimental pick. He's a legend who might still have the tools to compete at the highest level. Pacquiao's return didn't just light up the fans. It got the attention of one very familiar face, Floyd Mayweather. The abrupt shift from public service back to professional boxing raised plenty of eyebrows. But perhaps the most surprising reaction came from Manny's most iconic rival. For years, Mayweather never missed a chance to take verbal shots at Pacquiao. From trash talk to dismissive interviews, their rivalry was as heated as it gets. But this time around, the tone shifted. When asked about Manny's comeback, Floyd responded with something rare, genuine respect. In a moment that caught many off guard, he called Pacquiao one of the greatest boxers of all time. And coming from someone like Mayweather, a man who's built his legacy on confidence and dominance, that kind of praise carries serious weight.
Manny Pacquiao, I think that he's one of the best. He's one of the best.
Floyd also reflected on their long-awaited fight back in 2015.
Floyd also took a moment to reflect on their much-anticipated showdown back in 2015, the so-called fight of the century. He acknowledged that neither of them was at their absolute peak when they finally met in the ring, but emphasized that at the very least,
we didn't come together when we wanted to, but we was able to come together and get the fans a hell of.
Then came the big question. Would Floyd ever consider stepping back into the ring for a rematch with Pacquiao? His response was pretty clear, probably not. Mayweather explained that another fight between them might actually harm both of their legacies. In his view, it wouldn't do justice to everything they've already achieved. Whether you agree or not, it's hard to argue with that mindset. Floyd remains undefeated, and Manny is a true legend. Their legacies are firmly established, and trying to run it back now could only complicate what they built.
I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't want to do that because that'll tarnish his legacy as well as my legacy.
So, as the world gets ready to watch Pacquiao step into the ring for a title fight in 2025, don't expect Mayweather to be the one waiting for him on the other side. Still, the respect these former rivals now share is something fans didn't see coming. A powerful reminder of how even the fiercest battles can evolve into moments of mutual admiration. But what about you? Fight fans? Do you think Manny Pacquiao still has what it takes to scale boxing's highest peak once more? Is his upcoming match against the young champion a clear mismatch? Or do you truly believe the Filipino icon can pull off a stunning victory and reclaim the welterweight crown? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates like this.